Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's session of Court of Spades. I apologize in advance if, one, I'm a little quieter than I usually am because I'm back at my dorm, so the walls are thin. And I also was just in a minor car accident, so coming down from that little panic that I had, but
Oh no.
we're cool. It's fine. I just hit a stop sign. It's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. It was just stressful. So I'm fine though. Just a little scatterbrained, but we're gonna do this. So as First things first, just quick introductions. I am Emily. I am the DM for Court of Spades, as well as playing the character of Nyx, aka Life, who is a tiefling mythical beast. And someone else can introduce their character.
Well, it's me, Detroit. I'll be playing Peter Longbottom, the College of Whispers Bard. I'm really excited about today's session. I also apologize if I'm also a bit quieter out of it because I'm also really tired and just been busy with school. So
That's all right.
don't mind if I'm kind of in the back burner this session.
That's fine.
I'm Lex. I'm playing Gunby. He's a cleric. I'm also sick and dying from school. So,
Excellent.
Yeah, we're all having a good time in this town tonight, I think. Yeah, I might be muting myself on and off because I have the sniffles and the sneezes and the cough. So,
Okay, good. Thank you for the heads up.
Hi, Starry. I play Valteria. I'm not gonna say her name, last name. It's fine.
Okay.
She's a Terramancer. Yeah, cool.
All right. And either Peru or Marin.
I'm Zale. I play Peru Rawara. He's a sea folk swashbuckler. And I'm not sick, so I guess you'll hear more from me.
At least one of us is surviving. All right, and then Wiz? Maybe? Hello? Maybe not? Hello? Wiz? Okay. That's Wiz. They play Marin. He's a shitty boy half-elf wizard. And hopefully will be joining us shortly. I'm gonna just make sure they can hear us. Okay. But to quickly recap what happened last week, first off, quick question. Lex, did you happen to listen up to last week's session? Or any of it?
I listened to the first 30 minutes and then fell asleep.
Okay. That's totally fine.
Okay.
To quickly recap what they did last session, you guys made your way all the way through Rouge Canyon Road and emerged about halfway after encountering some kobolds who were transporting a young, blind, half-elf girl named Cecilia. You guys killed all the kobolds and took Cecilia with you and found out that she was from the circus, and you are now traveling with her. She is fully blind and is currently being carried by Marin. And as you guys made your way into the woods, you notice that at random times it seems as if a strange, inexplicable lightning tends to attack occasionally. And then you encountered how many? It was 5 giant wasps that had been mutated slightly. So after defeating those, Peter was knocked unconscious and then revived by Jack, I believe. Yes, Jack. And then who was anyone else injured in that fight? I don't think so, right? But Jack did not actually heal himself to the full extent that he should have, and is still in a state of poisoned. So as you guys made your way through the rest of the woods, you were able to find the circus, but as soon as you approached the gate, Jack passed out. And that's pretty much where we left off. So, real quick, I'm going to play my music. Just as a heads up to you, Starry. Okay. So you guys are at the gate of the circus, and Jack has just fallen unconscious. What do you guys want to do? I think Nyx goes, "Oh, holy shit! Jack, are you okay?"
This kind of sounds like a good time for me to step in, you know, as a cleric. So can I, like, just... Oh, like a cantrip or something? Whatever.
Do you have anything that cures poisoning or stabilizes somebody?
I don't know about cures poison, but...
Because that's Jack's current issue, is that he is poisoned. Because the giant wasps that the party encountered in the previous episode had stingers that were tipped with poison. So he was stung in the shoulder, and that poison is now coursing through his body.
Actually, I may have something.
Oh yeah?
Yes, I do. One of the spells I picked up when I leveled up to level 4 was Lesser Restoration.
Oh,
And,
excellent.
you touch a creature and either one disease or one condition afflicting it is cured. It can be blinded. Yeah, okay. So I will spend one of my spells, or a cast, Lesser Restoration, to help Jack out. To help Jack out.
Yeah.
Oh, gee.
Shit. Whiz. Don't know what that was, but it was not a fun noise.
Oh god, that was scary.
That's better.
Yeah, there we go.
So much. Oh, Jesus Christ,
Okay,
my heart.
thank God.
Yeah, I cast Lesser Restoration on Jack.
Okay.
Yeah, laying my hands down, gently caring for the area where he was stung, and just whispering soft tunes
Oh, okay.
to his wound.
To his wound.
As you cast the spell, you see Jack's eyes flutter open again, and he is stabilized. And he kind of looks like a little hazy, and he goes, What, well, I have to find his voice again. What happened?
Well, got stung by one of those giant wasps out there. We made it to the circus though. You passed out from the sting, but I helped you out. Don't worry too much about it.
Oh, God, I'm so sorry. That's so embarrassing.
I like to imagine this little jingle starts playing right after you finish talking, so then Joshua just kind of has a very uncomfortable look on his face because he does not like clowns.
You mean Peter?
Yeah, I mean Peter. I'm tired right now. Jesus.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Okay, so he's is he uncomfortable because of the music coming from the circus?
yes, it reminds me a lot of the clowns at Bard College. The
Okay.
goofballs,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
they're really extravagant bards.
Alright.
So he's just like, oh no.
So now that Jack's kind of come to again, he looks up and he goes, "Oh, I don't even remember approaching here. I guess we should go in, huh?"
A better time than ever.
He kind of gets to his feet and he looks like a little embarrassed, and he starts soothing his hands over his braids because he's a little self-conscious, and his hair's kind of messed up from collapsing on the ground. But he picks up the map that he dropped when he passed out, and then straightens up and kind of looks up and goes, "All right, let's go then. Let's see." And as you guys kind of approach this gate, the gate is open, the front. It's not the gate itself, the entrance is not shut. It's open and welcoming. And as you guys walk in, you hear this festive music swirling around you. And there is a ticket booth in the front that says "Tickets Please" across the glass. And you can't see into the glass. There's kind of a curtain that's drawn down, so you can't see who is standing behind it, but there's a light on inside of it. So Jack is going to approach the ticket booth. Does anyone? I don't remember. I don't think anyone specific took the tickets, right?
No, I don't believe
I don't think
anyone
anyone
specifically
specific.
took the tickets. I thought we just kind of assumed
Okay.
that everyone got a ticket.
Okay, so everyone has their own ticket then. So Jack is going to reach into his pocket and produce his ticket, and you hear a voice go, "Ticket, please!" And Jack kind of raises an eyebrow, and a green hand is extended out from under the curtain, and it's got kind of craggly claws, and there's some scratches and warts on this hand. And Jack hesitantly puts the ticket down on the edge of the booth and slides it with one finger under the little slot in the glass, and then retracts his hand really quickly. And
The only thing I can think of is the Mike Wazowski thing.
what? Oh god, no.
I'm so sorry.
You god. When Jack does this, there's a faint chime, a ding, and the light behind the curtain flickers for a second, and there's a turnstile next to this ticket booth that switches over to a little green light, and the person behind the ticket booth says, "You may enter." And Jack pushes through the turnstile and waits everyone else to hand their ticket over, and you hear that gruff voice extend a hand again and go, "Ticket, please!"
Peter barely reaches up to the counter to slide his ticket in. And I want to say he's just for the turn door.
Yeah, the
I
turn.
like to or the turnstile. I like to imagine that like Joshua's actually like just shorter than it, but he still pushes it as
Peter?
like Peter.
It's okay.
Peter's like barely just tall enough for it, so Peter just kind of like pushes it anyways, even though he could have easily just walked under it.
Gotcha. Yeah, the little light, the light flickers, and you hear a ding, and the turnstile turns green and indicates that you can walk through. And you could pretty much limbo under it if you wanted to, but you get the feeling that you should probably go through the turnstile and like let it count you as an attendee for the day. It has one of those little like tick things that marks that you are attending, so it's counting how many people have entered the circus today.
Is this like the only way in? Like, do the turnstiles go all the way like down whatever opening this is?
Well, the ticket booth is kind of positioned like right in the gate, so like the turnstile's like coming out from the doors of the gate, pretty much. Like where the doors end is where the turnstile begins. And so like you'd pretty much have to scale the gate.
How climbable is the gate? Just like out of curiosity.
This gate is about like let's see what's a reasonable, like it's probably like 10 feet tall.
Okay.
So it's not like it's like bars, like really thin bars, so there's not really like a foothold for you. You'd have to like stick your hands and feet through the bars and try to scale it like that. It would be very difficult for you to try to scale this fence.
You forget I'm a pirate, but I will take my ticket and go up to the booth like a normal person and go to the turnstile.
Ticket, please! And then you hand it over, and the hand rescinds back inside. It snatches your ticket, and you hear the ding, and it glows green, and you go through, and you hear like the ticking noise of your attendance being counted, and the hand appears again from outside the booth.
Gumby, like, you know that excited like running you do, but you're trying to walk at the same time. You know, he does that, like going up to the thing and like slides his ticket like really fast because he like really wants to get into the circus to see what's up and what's happening. He's really curious.
Okay.
So.
Also to let you know, Gunby, like last session, the kobolds that they fought in the canyon, they said that they had just come back from the circus, and that's when, and then like they were slaughtered pretty much before they got a lot of useful information out of them, but Cecilia was, it was deduced that Cecilia was being kidnapped, so.
Do we have to get her into the circus?
Yeah, that was what I was just going to ask. Does she need a ticket?
No,
we'll find out. Marin has yet to go through.
Yeah, she's, okay. So the hand takes your ticket, Gumby, and you hear the bing, and the turnstile turns green, and you're allowed in.
Nice.
And you hear the tick as it counts your attendance. The hand comes back out and says, "Ticket, please."
First. Marin goes through.
Okay. Ding, and you go through, and Nick's kind of like slides his ticket. And he's like, "Here you go," and the hand takes his ticket and dings and counts his attendance. I think Val's the only person who hasn't gone through. Ticket, please. Okay. The light flashes and you hear a ding and you're allowed through the turnstile. Even though you probably, at your height, might have been able to just step over the turnstile. As would, but it's fine. So all of your attendance has been accounted for, and, as you guys enter this circus, you feel almost like an atmospheric shift. as soon as you step through the gates of the circus, it's like the rest of the world has kind of like not like faded away. You can still see outside these gates, but it's almost as if like it's blurred or obscured a little bit. It's not like you don't feel, well, it depends on how your character would react to this shift in atmosphere, but I'll show you that it's not like you don't feel like you've been trapped in here all of a sudden. It's not that kind of shift in atmosphere, and the blurring of the outside world is not because you're like stepping into something else. It's because once you've entered this circus, everything is monochrome. It's all grayscale. So the tents are black and white. The lights are all bright white, and they're like dimly like kind of fading in and out. The other patrons, and if you look at each other, you are all now grayscale. It's like the color has been rinsed out of everything.
Oh my god, I was gonna ask, like, do we get new costumes too? Like, you know, in Kingdom Hearts, whenever you go to different worlds, we just randomly get, like, different clothes.
You're still wearing your clothes, they're just completely colorless.
Their art style completely changed. It's like old-timey, like, Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like, obviously your characters won't know this, but it kind of feels like you've stepped into an old black and white film. And you just, and you have now entered the circus. So, does anyone wanna, does anyone wanna make a perception check?
Yeah, I was gonna ask if I could.
Yeah, go for
some
it.
kind of. Okay.
Perception.
I forgot to pull up. 1 second. Can you just like roll a d20 for me?
If you want, you can go in dice. You can go in dice rolls and roll using Avi Ray. You just
I
hit
got an 8.
Okay. For Gunby, you just do exclamation point R and then space 1d20.
Okay.
I got an 11.
An 11? Okay.
Yeah.
What'd you get, Val?
Wait, is this perception?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have my dice out. It's not-
Oh, sorry. I thought you had said a number. I also don't have my dice out because I'm a fucking idiot. So.
It's okay, you literally just got here, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, exactly, so it's not like... Yeah, don't worry about it.
Alright. Here we go.
We're
Oh, I have my dice box again. Bless.
Where is my person?
Ooh, Marin sees all.
I got 17.
17? Okay. And then Gunby, did you want to roll in dice rolls?
I can't find my perception boosty thing because orc whatever is evil.
Oh, orc. Yeah.
I'm living my life. I don't know, we'll just go for it without a boost because why? Just live life on the oh yeah.
Sweet, for once. Nick's got a 19. Excellent. Okay, so anyone who rolled like a 15 or higher, as you gaze around the circus, you notice typical kind of well, let's start actually with Gunby and Peter because you guys rolled lower. You guys like are looking around and you guys see like typical circus stuff. There are concession stands. They kind of are lined up in the front of the circus, so like as you're entering deep, like before you start walking through basically the aisles of the tents that are set up here, That's where they have like concessions set up. So there's like hot popcorn and cotton candy and fresh like cold beverages and yes, and candy apples, stuff like that. There's like there's like a balloon stand for the kids, and a couple other like typical concession stands, ice cream, stuff like that. And then you guys just notice that there are like basically 3 rows is how this no, well, not really. The center row isn't really a row, it's one massive tent. It's and then around it are like 2 smaller rows that they're kind of like set up in a circle, but it's like a semi-circle. So along the left side there's about 3 tents, and along the right side there's about 3 tents, and they are all like set up so they curve around this center tent. And then in the back you can see the lights of what you assume are like games. Like the thing where you throw a dart at some balloons, the thing where you throw a ball and knock down some pins, the thing where you throw a ring and try to get it on a bottle. That kind of
fantasy skee ball.
And they're all rigged so you can't win.
You don't know that. So that's what you guys see. People who rolled 15 or higher, you guys notice more about the patrons of this circus. The most noticeable people in the circus are the employees. You notice that every employee is wearing either a black or a white uniform, and it's like entirely black or entirely white. So they kind of dressed to match the theme of this circus. All of them have either black or white hair. All of their and they all have the same identical makeup on their face. It's kind of a swirling, just like decorative pattern that kind of goes around their face. And there's nothing really fancy because the only employees you can see right now are like the concession stand workers, and they were just wearing like a button-down shirt and slacks. And then as you notice the patrons, all of them seem to be like enjoying themselves. They're all talking amongst each other. They're walking in whatever group that they came with, and it is a very lively scene, actually, which may surprise you based on the rumors of this so-called mysterious circus. It's a little shocking to see that there's quite a few people here, and they seem to be having a great time. So is there an area that you would like to check out first? I will say that when you enter... Oh, okay, so here's how this is gonna go. Wait, did Marin ever go through the thing? Wiz?
Yes, he did.
He did, okay.
Yeah.
So, when Marin entered... when Marin entered, Cecilia wasn't even like asked for a ticket. Like Cecilia was easily let in with Marin. And when you guys entered, she immediately perks up and she goes, "We're here." Okay. I'm going to hold off a little bit on her and ask, is there a particular area that you guys want to look at first?
I'm interested in the concession stands, but first I want to know, do I get like a Spirited Away vibe from them where like if I ate the food I would be stuck here forever?
I don't know how you would be able to tell that, even if that was a thing. So I'm not going to answer yes or no, but like, it's nothing about this place has given you any indication that like sinister magics are at work here, other than maybe the fact that they have managed to somehow create the illusion that there's no color here. Like, that's literally all you can tell about this circus so far, is that like they definitely went for an aesthetic and they're achieving it.
Okay. I'm gonna get some cotton candy then.
Okay. You notice that when you approach the cotton candy stand, it's actually called cloud candy because it's completely stark white to match the theme.
Because of course it is.
Yes.
Just real quick, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Yes.
you.
And the technical difficulties for the night.
Excellent. That's okay. You've been able to hear me though, right?
I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so so it's called Cloud Candy, and there's like two people in front of you, but it's moving relatively fast. Oh man.
This music is fucking creepy.
I think it's the music putting off the bad vibes, not the black and white.
Right?
So you approach the stand and they ask you for literally 1 silver.
Okay, I give them 1 silver.
Right. Here you go, sir. And they hand you a bag with a big old cotton candy like fluff in it, and it's pure white.
Okay.
And the concession stand says, "I hope you have sweet dreams."
Thanks. You too?
She just kind of smiles and like waves, and then moves on to help the next customer.
Okay. So I'm gonna try some of this shit, and what does it taste like?
Okay. When you eat it, it kind of tastes like I'd imagine that in your time you've probably has Peru like ever been to like a campfire or something like that, or like a bonfire?
Like a proper bonfire?
Yeah, like, or like, have you been camping and like had some s'mores at any point?
No.
No? Okay then,
No,
for the
not
first
like
time
that.
ever in your life, you are experiencing the sweet, sweet taste of pure sugar as you would find in a squishy, squishy marshmallow.
Oh.
So,
Delicious.
yes, it is very, very good.
And do I die?
No, as you eat
Okay.
it though, you do feel like a very good feeling, and it's not like. I want to be clear that when I say like you guys get good feelings from like eating this, it's not because like you're under a trance. Like, there is magic incorporated with like the food here, but it's meant to make you feel good. It's not to make you feel like, oh, it's not like a thing that's like, wow, I'm high or something like that. You know what I mean? It's kind of giving you a high, but like not in a scary way. That's what I'm trying to get off here. You're not like poisoned by this or trapped here because you've eaten this cotton candy. It's just like it's made to make you feel like pleasant when you eat it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Alright. I guess I'll keep eating it then.
Okay. Is there anything else that anyone else wants to check out first off?
Well, Peter would like to actually talk to Cecilia.
Okay.
For a brief moment. So, Cecilia, now that we're back inside, shouldn't we get you to your what was your troop's ringleader's name again? The head honcho here, if you will.
Marion, yes, please take me to
Marion.
him.
We should get to Marion.
Yes, he should be in the arena.
Okay.
So, okay, hold on. Let me think for a second. Okay, so we guys gotta talk to the ringleader. Does Cecilia already kind of like know the way, or since like they're familiar, or do I kind of have to like help them? Would it be more of like them showing me where?
On my back right now.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Oh, I wondered why Detroit was so loud. For some reason, I had you turned up to 200%.
Oh no. I'm sorry.
There we go. Okay, no, it's totally fine. I was like, why is Detroit's mic so blown out? It was my own fault. Yeah, no, but yeah, Cecilia actually, she seems to, like, she's excited to be here. She is back in her element, kind of. So, yeah.
Question.
I will say there's one thing you do, yeah, go ahead.
Question. Would it not be considered? Would I not? Okay. Am I technically not talking to Cecilia alone because they're technically on Marin's back?
Yeah. So like you're talking to her while she's on Marin's back. So like, because she's still being carried, Marin has made no move to put her down.
But it's not like we're having. It's, technically, we aren't having like a private conversation because of the physical circumstances. Okay. Never mind. In that case, yeah, we should get you back. We should get you back to your ringleader, and if you guys want to continue doing some more reconnaissance, you look like you're really having a good time there with that candy cloud or whatever it is you got over there.
Very good. You should try some.
Peter hesitantly looks and just takes a pinch of it and like eats like a small like bite.
All right, you also taste it basically, here's a better way to describe it. It's almost like an instant sugar rush. You feel instantly uplifted by eating this delicious cotton candy.
Reminds me of home.
So I was gonna say, I'm sure this isn't something like completely bizarre in a world of magic.
What's that?
And something like completely bizarre, like magic infused food.
Yeah, no, it's
has magic.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like a freaky
magic food.
Yeah, exactly.
Did Cecilia ever tell us what it is that she does here at the circus?
She said that she mentioned that she had an act, but she never specified.
Okay, so then I would like to ask Cecilia, what is it exactly that you do here? You mentioned you have an act.
Well, Marion says I'm not supposed to talk about it outside of the tents. So maybe if you take me to him, he'll let you see.
Okay. That's not like weird or anything that like, you know, this guy is telling you that you can't talk about things in certain places, but yeah, sure.
Did you just say that to her?
Yes.
Okay, so she kind of like furrows her brow a little and she's like, Marion's not just some guy, he's like my dad. And I think he's just trying to keep it a mystery, you know? There's no fun in watching something if you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, alright, you got me there. Alright, so which tent do we need to take you to see him?
I assume the main one?
Yeah, Marion usually works in the arena, so it should be straight ahead. And she actually like points in the direction of the arena.
Man, I wish my dad owned an arena.
So do you guys
I walk in that direction.
Okay, she actually kind of taps your shoulder a little. She goes, "You can let me down now. I know where I'm going."
Do you mind leading us there then?
What was that? Hold on, I'm gonna turn up you slightly so I can hear you better. What was that?
And then introducing us.
Oh, yeah, of course. I won't be able to spot him actually, so hopefully he either spots you or you spot him. He's hard to miss.
What does he look like? Wait, that's a stupid question. Never mind.
So does
Yeah, he has long ears. So he's an elf. Let's see. He should be wearing black and white. I've heard that's what everyone wears. And he'll have a bright smile on his face. He's very friendly.
Celsius?
No. I'm not really familiar with the different kinds of elves. I just know he has very long, pointy ears.
Oh god, we might be dealing with Faye. No.
I'm dealing with Faye.
So she gets down off your back, Marin, and actually starts, like... She's not, like, sprinting, but she's kind of, like, hurriedly walking towards the arena. She's excited to get back.
I'm keeping pace with her.
Okay. Nyx is following you guys because he's actually, like, he looks a little uncomfortable. He's, like, looking at himself and, like, studying his skin, because the nature of this area has kind of drained him of color. So now he looks more like his natural tiefling form, which is freaking him out a little, but he's not really, like, outwardly showing it.
I put my hand on his back and kind of push him along with me.
He follows along readily, and he doesn't really say anything. He's just kind of like rubbing his arm a little, like, self-consciously.
Poke my pointer finger into his back as we're walking.
Okay. As you guys walk, is everyone entering the main tent?
I'm following behind, so yes.
Okay, Peru is, Gumby is, Val and Peter, are you also going to the main tent, or are you guys gonna walk around the circus?
No, I'm gonna go with them to the main tent.
Okay. Okay. So, all of you enter this main tent, and you push open the curtains. Well, Cecilia, like, rushes in and, like, throws the curtain open, and you just see her, like, disappear into, like, darkness. And Marin, if you were keeping pace with her, then you are also immediately, like, enveloped in darkness.
Okay, hold on, wait, I have,
You have what?
this magical darkness?
You can make an Arcana check.
I'll know immediately, because if it's not, I have dark vision for 60 feet.
Oh, okay, then, yeah, no. It is magical darkness. You can't see through it.
Oh, great, okay. Fuck. I'll feel Nyx. I'm gonna take his shoulder and keep walking through with him.
Okay. So Nyx is also joining you.
Is magical darkness like a thing that like lighting a torch would help?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess it's just the blind leading the blind here. Literally.
Now you all know how Cecilia feels, and that's the moral of the story. Anyway, this was a great session, you guys.
Thanks for playing.
All right. So do all of you didn't simultaneously enter this, to be honest. So do any of you like not go in when you see your fellow party members like disappear into this tent without any indication of where they went?
I will say Peter is sort of the last one to enter because he's kind of looking around the outside. So could I guess roll like a perception check just to like see what's going on immediately outside of like the area of the tent?
Okay.
Let's see here. Please, come on. 12.
12. Okay. You don't really notice anything odd about this tent from the outside. It just looks like another black and white tent. It, as I said, it's noticeably the most large tent in the circus, but there's nothing really like odd to you about it. It's just a tent.
I guess like Peru enters like very hesitantly, like with his like hands held out in case he like bumps into something.
Okay. So is anyone else doing anything before they enter?
Gumby just kind of walks in. He's just hoping he doesn't like get sucked into some kind of hellhole.
Okay. Okay, so as you guys walk in, the curtain falls, like the the curtain that you entered through falls shut behind you, and you are in total darkness. And suddenly you hear the flap of a cape. Kind of, that's like what it sounds like to you, right in front of you. And a man that is like stark white appears directly in front of you. And he's like a sharp contrast. It's almost like he's being like artificially like lit up. And he stands right in front of you, goes, "Welcome, welcome. Oh, little doves, you have come to see the show?"
Yes.
Peter gives his best Bard College approved bow to him and simply says, "Yes, we are here for the show, but first we ran across your dear little Cecilia here, and we brought her safely back to her loving family here."
And Cecilia like immediately perks up, and she's like jumping up and down and reaching up, and her red cloak is kind of like bouncing up with her as she like reaches for him, and she goes, Marion, it's me. I came back." And he like gasps dramatically and clasps his chest, and he's like, "Cecilia! Oh my god, I thought you were gone forever." And he like
I
sweeps
can
her.
check him.
Yeah. And he sweeps her up in his arms and like twirls her around. He goes, "Where did you go? We were so worried. I was about to send out the entire circus in a search party for you, my darling. And she just kind of like giggles and she goes, some men came and they took me away. I don't know what happened exactly. I don't remember leaving the circus, but these guys fought those guys off and brought me back. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it. It'll never happen again.
The 23.
23? Okay, are you just like looking to see if there's anything?
No, I was checking to see if he was lying.
Lying about what?
You said something about like her memory is so garbage.
It's okay. Here, I'll just.
Her again,
Oh,
and
no,
then like made a big show of being like so much. We're
He's
so
being-
worried.
I'll tell you that you can tell with your inside check that he is being sincere. He is very relieved to see Cecilia, and he is showing genuine concern for her. There's nothing like he's being honest right now. It's hard to tell that he's upset though, if he is upset, because he has a wide grin on his lips, and it has not wavered. He quickly like shifts his gaze to you, and you notice that like he has the same kind of like pale blue eyes as Cecilia, but they're not clouded over like hers. Like he can see you guys. Like he's not blind. And he goes, "Then you are honored guests. You brought our little lamb back to the fold, and I can only think of one way to reward you. Oh, but pardon my manners. I suppose I should introduce myself. I am Marion, ringleader of Isalka and I. And you are?"
Is he talking to Marin?
He's talking to the lot of you, because he can see all
I didn't
of
know
you.
I didn't know how many people had caught up.
Everyone is in the tent.
Okay.
Peter sort of speaks up and just says, well, we are just a troupe of traveling entertainers of various arts and various travels. We heard about this great circus that appeared, and we wanted to see with our own eyes. Please, how long do you plan to stick around the area? We would love to bring, our other family members and relatives and friends to see such a wonderful show.
He turns his gaze to you and kind of looks like excited, and he's like, "You are entertainers. That's wonderful. We can all relate then. Well, you see, there's no set limit on how long we'll be here. Who can say? As long as the people want entertainment, you know?"
What brought you, you must, well, it seems like you must, have come along from very far away. It's your garb, your clothing is not very, familiar to these parts. I must ask, where else have, you and your, troop gone, since before here?
You're from the mainland?
Yes. We've been all over, of course. We are world renowned. Have you not heard of us before?
No, this is the first my ears have heard of Marion the Ringmaster.
Well, I suppose that's to be expected. After all, if the rumors are true, your little peninsula here is a bit cut off from the world, no?
I think it takes time for news to arrive in and out. I wouldn't say we're completely cut off.
It's pretty cut off.
Listen here.
When you've been around the world, you know when things are cut off. This is cut off.
He nods understandingly and like looks at you through, and he's like, "As I figured, this is the only explainable reason why you wouldn't have heard of us. I can assure you, we are very well known in the places we've been and the places surrounding."
Well, I mean, you're certainly making a name for yourself here, setting up your tents out here in the what is it called? Hang on.
The Evermore?
The Evermore, yes.
Okay.
That's what I meant. You know, most people don't set up out here, and I mean, I don't know, I find it kind of odd. Don't you usually need a permit for such things?
Well, you know, we are merchants, right? So, we have a permit, of course. We know the laws of this land.
Can I make a perception check to see if he's lying?
That would be insight.
Okay, then that one.
Okay.
Actually, okay. Well, actually, you go first.
Okay. Hang on, I have to look up what my stats are. I'm not very good at insight. That's a 7.
As far as you can tell, he's telling the truth.
Okay.
Well, Peter kind of speaks up again, and I want to actually try a persuasion here. And what I want to basically do is, basically kind of lie and say, like, well, if that's the case, we're also sent as ambassadors from some of the nearby cities outside the Evermore, and we're just here to collect the paperwork. Would you mind showing us? And he just makes up like a random like permit name, like entertainer's permit number 13, B.
Okay.
And I guess I'll roll for persuasion.
I have a
Please, God.
question.
Yeah.
Is a entertainer
14.
for the peninsula, would Marin know what the actual permit is?
For like traveling with a caravan? Yeah. Tea&D had one, and who else? Someone else is traveling with a caravan here, right?
Val did, I believe.
Oh, Val did.
Yeah, my people.
Okay, so yeah, Val, then you would know what a traveler's permit looks like. And Peter, you didn't. Oh, Peter, you would know because you like hitched along with some traveling merchants.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah.
you probably saw the permit when you were crossing into like the borders.
Right.
So you've seen one as well. I don't think Gunby would have seen one, and I don't think. Well, that's everyone. So only Gunby hasn't seen a permit.
Well, Peru hasn't seen one, probably.
Oh yeah,
He
that's true.
reads. He probably read a permit book.
Yeah, that's true. Gunby actually probably knows a lot about the law of the land, so Gunby probably actually knows what a permit looks like. Peru, not so much.
No.
Because you were more so like the reason you left Haven, which is where you originally were kind of holed up because that's where the port is, was because of like a job. So you didn't need necessarily like a traveler's permit because you had work in another city.
Okay.
So, and because that work was, like issued secretly by the Queen of Grimoire. God, I need to remember that. of Grimoire, you were kind of like let in because you had like basically like legitimate reasoning, like you had work papers essentially.
Okay.
So yeah, that's like the only other way to like be allowed from one town to another, is if you have like either work papers or like a deed to like a house or something in another city. Like you need proof as to why you need to move from one place to another, or why you should be allowed entrance.
Well then, Marion, let's see them permits, see them papers. Papers, please.
He kind of looks you up and down and considers you for a second, and then his grin like spreads back across his lips. Like it kind of like he kind of looked at you quizzically, and then he smiled widely again. He was like, "We can talk about matters of business later, can't we? You must be so tired. Please, take a seat and enjoy the show. It's about to begin."
He squints his eyes a bit, and he brings his hand back down and just smiles back and says, "Fine, one free show couldn't hurt. Well, not free. We did get in your permit, but
You didn't pay.
yeah. Oh wait, shh. We're contributing. Come on, anyways. So anyways, the point is Peter kind of like defensively kind of like says, all right, one show couldn't hurt.
Okay. Are the rest of you like going to listen to Peter and kind of take a seat?
I look at
Yeah,
Nick.
probably.
Nick. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Nix looks back at you, Marin.
Useless.
The PMing begins.
He kind of like shrugs and he's like, I mean, I don't know, I kind of want to see. And like as he says like take a seat, a single light like appears in front of you and shines like directly to your left, and there is a row of how many party members do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seats. Vacant. That's like 3 in the front and 3 directly behind that row.
What about Jack?
Oh, 7 seats. My bad. God, I always forget Jack is with them. Also, does anyone want to make an insight check on Jack real quick?
I will.
Okay.
13.
Okay, he's not hiding it very well, so you're able to see that, like, even though Jack has been, like, cured of being poisoned, he's still not, like, doing too hot. Like, he looks like he's very worn out and, like, tired, but, like, he's fallen silent during Marion's speech because he doesn't really know what to make of it, and, like, he looks like he's kind of zoning out a little.
Can I offer him some cotton candy?
Sure. And he he looks at you and goes, "Oh, no thank you. I don't really eat sweets."
Oh. Okay. You just kind of look like you needed something to eat. You look kind of tired.
Oh, I'll be fine. I just need to. I guess it's like waking up from a nap, you know? I'm kind of a little hazy, but it'll clear. Thank you, though.
Okay.
Can I offer
and-
him some popped corn?
Yeah, did you pick up some popcorn?
Sure.
Okay, the popcorn is also bright white, and it has like, it actually like sparkles a little bit.
Voodoo buddy.
What's that? And the popcorn is sweet, so it's more like in real life it's like more like kettle corn. It's not buttery.
They don't have the regular salty, buttery popcorn for my salty ass.
It's kind of like it still has like salt on it, but it's kind of like if you imagine like how salted caramel is. It's kind of a nice balance of salt and sweet, you know? It's not to the point though where like if like you offer him popcorn and he kind of smiles weakly and like takes a small handful, because it's not like, whereas Peru was offering him just a ball of sugar, he's more willing to have like some of this sweet popcorn. And when he eats it, he actually like smiles a little and he goes, "Ooh, that's very good. Do you mind if I have one more handful of that?"
I just let him have the entire thing.
Oh, okay. He's like, "Oh, that you didn't have to do that. I'll be okay. We can share."
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
He kind of like walks in and takes a seat. So there are 4 seats in the back and 3 in front. And by that I don't mean there's like a huge space between it. Like they're literally like right behind each other. So he takes a seat in the furthest back seat, and I assume Val follows because they're sharing popcorn now. And then Nyx goes to follow Val and sit down next to her.
I already sat down.
Okay. As you guys take seats, Marion kind of claps his hands together. He's like, "Oh, wonderful, wonderful. You are going to love this. Our little Cecilia here is going to put on quite the show for you." And she looks giddy, like she looks overjoyed. She's like, "You guys are going to get to see my act."
Peter looks on, like just smiling.
That's great.
What was that, Marion?
Great.
Oh. Hello?
You're cutting out a bit.
Can you hear us, Wiz?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. But what did you say to Cecilia?
He said, "I'm sure it's going to be great."
Oh, okay. She like beams and she's like, "I can't wait." And she kind of like, as Marin says this, he kind of like smiles and he's like, he smiles that same smile and he's like, "Enjoy the show." And as he does that, he like lifts his black cloak up and like he basically like conceals himself and Cecilia and they disappear from sight. And as the stadium like quiets down, the spotlight on you like fades out a bit and you hear Marion's voice like booming from out of nowhere, and you hear him say, "Ladies and gentlemen and honored attendees of our circus, welcome men to Isaka and I. We have for you tonight our own Cecilia, and she is going to put on quite the show for you." And as he says this, you hear kind of like a chum 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 noise, and as he's talking, lights are coming on, and they're not electric lights. There are people sitting beneath you and they are casting light like simultaneously, and you are now gazing down into a deep like layered pit, essentially. So there's an arena circle in the center, and then there's like layer and layer and layer, and it kind of is, it's just like where this looked like a normal tent from the outside, it goes like deep into the earth. And there's like balconies of crowds below you. And they're like going wild. They're absolutely like, they're cheering, they're screaming, they're like, they're elated to be here. So he says this, and as the light goes on, you see standing in the center of the ring under a single spotlight is Cecilia, and she looks actually similar to before, but she now has her hair has been tamed. It's not roughed up like she was before. She's wearing a fresh white dress. It's not torn like it was when you found her. And she's still wearing the bright red cloak that you found her in. And then she's kind of like standing there holding her hands together. And she goes, "Once upon a time." And the lights, like, there are a new set of lights, and they start to kind of dance around her, and they're like swirling around the stadium. And as she says this, like, it's like the scenery changes around you, and all of a sudden you guys aren't looking like everyone is experiencing this individually. So like Marin, you're sitting alone seeing this, and like Peter, you're sitting alone seeing this. Like everyone around you has disappeared, and now you are looking at her, and she's like standing in she's standing on a path that's surrounded by grass, and she's standing at the edge of a woods, and it's like a beautiful day out, and you guys can like hear the birds singing, and she is holding now in her clasped hand a small basket. And you guys start to hear, like, let me real quick. Change a little. And she goes, "There was a small girl, and she traveled into the woods to go to her grandmother's house." And as she says this, like, she starts skipping, and as she's skipping, the scenery starts to move. It's almost like a side-scrolling type thing, where you're watching the scenery revolve around her, and she's now skipping through the forest. And she goes, "The first thing she encountered were some strange mushrooms growing along the path. They made her very sleepy, and as she's skipping, you suddenly see like tufts of like spores being released into the air, and you yourself start to feel this kind of dizzy sensation. And it's not like I don't know if at any point, if any of you want to have like an instantaneous reaction to something happening, let me know. But she seems to be reflecting this feeling, but she turns and she kind of like lays on the ground, and you can tell that like when she does this, she's acting, she's not actually passing out. The scenery kind of like turns to like a bluish hue, and she falls asleep. As she lies there, the scenery around her begins to change, and it kind of fades out to be darkness. And she goes, and she wakes up and yawns, and she goes, "When the young girl awoke, she was completely alone. surrounded by nothing but the night sky. And she felt so lost. And she stands up and she's like acting like she's scared. And she starts walking in, and like when I say that she's like walking in place kind of on the ground that is moving, but she's not moving. Until she came across a little house in the woods, and you see like rise up behind her is the image of a house, and she turns to face it, and now she has her back to you, and all you can see is the outline of her red cloak. The little girl, scared and alone, ran up to the house and knocked, even though this wasn't her grandma's house, and she'd never seen this house before, even on her many trips to grandma's that she'd been on. She must have strayed really far from the path. And as you hear her knock, the door creaks open and like a white light pours through it, and you can't really see what's in it, but she enters. And as she enters, the scenery changes again, and you're now sitting in this house watching. And she walks in, you see her walk in through the door. It's kind of like a portal almost appeared, and she walks through this fake door. And you see there's like a fireplace burning in the corner. There's plants and like a knitting set. There's a rocking chair. It looks like a typical cozy cabin. On the table, the dining table, there's kind of a dinner set out with a butcher's knife kind of placed in a large roast that the inhabitants seem to be eating. And then there's a bed with a lump in it, and you can't see who's in the bed. And she goes, and I want to be clear, like, the scenes that are happening, like, they are full of color. Like, this is the first color you've seen since you've entered the circus. And as she approaches, she whispers, and she's like, "Hello? Is anybody there?" And you hear a deep groan, and suddenly you hear a deep, deep growl. And rising from the bed is the largest wolf you've ever seen in your life. And it snarls at her viciously. And she screams. And the entire stadium goes dark again. And when the lights rise up again, she's standing in the stadium, and you can see the crowd again, and it's just her and this large, snarling wolf. And it's odd because this wolf is kind of standing on its hind legs, and it's hunched over, and it looks about to be 3 times the size of her. And she's wielding a small short sword.
Oh no.
And you see her, and she kind of throws the hood off of the top of her head, and she whips it off to the side, and she charges the beast. And let's see. And she charges forward, and the wolf like dives over her and whips around and grabs at her and flings her across the arena, and she tumbles through it, and she cries out in pain, but she shakily stands back up on her feet. God, Celia. She charges forward again, and this time the wolf picks her up and kind of like hooks her in his hand and slams her into the ground. And you hear like the wind completely knock out of her. And now as this is happening, the lights that were around are like strobing, and the audience is like gasping, and it's kind of like it's hectic. Like she is struggling to get to her feet, but this wolf just keeps lunging at her and throwing her around this arena like a rag doll. And you see her kind of stand up. She looks completely beaten, and she's like bleeding. Her hair is in shambles again. It's faintly reminiscent of how you found her, but like a million times worse. She has like claw marks down her body and scratched into her clothes. And she stands up and she faces the audience, and she's shaking as she picks up her sword, and she has her back to the wolf. And she goes, not all stories have a happy ending. And as she says that, the wolf seems to like almost like tremble, and then it opens its mouth and lets out a horrible snarl and just like dives down and like consumes her, and the arena goes black and she is gone, and that's it. Where is my thing? And as the lights start to rise, everyone starts uproariously cheering. And the only thing left in the arena that you can see when the lights come up is a red cloak. Where's my... Hello.
So then, where?
What the fuck did we just watch?
What did we just watch? Peter is honestly speechless. That was pretty.
Marin literally like took something to just keep himself in his chair, and he's now like at the party, like just completely baffled.
Drew's like jaw is practically on the floor. Like
Nyx looks super confused. He's like, "Wait, that's it?" And Jack looks like is like covering his mouth and looks like astonished, as if like, "That's it?"
Okay, did that wolf like really eat her, you guys, or like? Do you
Gumby's
think
like
it was fake?
Gumby's like shook because
It had to be fake. It's
he's never seen anything like that before or read anything like that before, so he's not saying anything.
What kind of magic was this?
In like shock.
Yeah, I should also mention that like,
basic illusion magic.
yeah, you guys witnessed that last scene like together, like as a crowd. The whole crowd witnessed her being eaten by this wolf.
And they're cheering about it, right?
Yeah, everyone else is like, yeah, that was great.
Yeah, because they probably think it's act. Wait, so, I guess,
It had to be an act. It's not like
Because she says she does this like all the time, right?
all of my life. So you can
Yeah,
mind reading that shit.
That wasn't anything like what we did at the carnival.
But we weren't. We had a different kind of show. It wasn't a circus.
I guess, but like,
I might have a theory that that wolf beast that might have been like I don't know, like not really a familiar, but like in some way connected to her. Because let me tell you guys, as I'm watching this, the only thing I can think of is why would a bunch of kobolds try to buy / sell or steal her and kidnap her? So I'm like watching this and I'm just like, is that beast a part of her? And is that why she was a target? That's what's going in my head.
As you guys are talking, these like ushers have appeared and they're kind of like waving people out, and the crowd is starting to clear out of this main arena tent. And the people next to you are kind of like standing up and like waiting for all of you to like move. So Nick stands up, and so does Jack.
I'm gonna stand up too.
Okay,
He
and
stands up too.
Yeah, I guess we all.
Yeah, we all. I guess we all.
yeah, so you guys are ushered out, still kind of in this state of confusion. And as you merge, like the way this arena works is like the people who are on lower levels than you are coming up staircases on the interior, and they're exiting through like there's a exit on where you like. There's the entrance you guys came in, and then there's one on the opposite side of the tent as well. So it's not like everyone's coming out one entrance. But yeah, there's like a huge flood of people behind you, so you guys are quickly ushered out of the tent. Hold on. Val, as you exit the tent, you're kind of on the edge of the crowd, and you feel a small hand grab your arm and like pull you out of the crowd.
Like back?
Like not into the tent, but like once you like as soon as you've like passed through the threshold, it's pulling you like out of the crowd and off to the side of the entrance.
Okay.
And as you look to see who pulled you, you see a familiar red cloak, and Cecilia is looking up at you, and like she's looking up at you, but she's not really like looking at you, and she's like, "Well, did you like it? Where are your friends?"
Did we stick together as a group? Are we?
I
Do I
think
know
we
where my
did.
friends are?
Everyone,
Everyone
everyone make a perception check actually to see if you noticed Val get pulled out, because you are surrounded by literally like hundreds of people trying to simultaneously exit this tent.
Oh boy. Okay.
Where are your friends? You know
16?
what? That's a great
16.
question.
16.
Wait, what kind of roll was it again?
Perception.
Okay.
Please God.
23.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Nick's rolled a 12.
With the
Maybe 19. Excellent. Okay. What was Peru's?
16.
16. Okay. All right. Everyone passed. So all of you kind of notice when Val's missing, because she is kind of like a landmark. So you see her tall head like kind of dart off to the side, and you follow to see where she's going, and you notice that Cecilia is standing there, and next to her is a small black dog.
The wolf was a fucking
What?
dog.
Ooh woo.
So I guess I'm like, wait. So do I see them?
Your friends? Yeah, they gathered around you.
Okay, cool.
I kneel down and I put a hand on Celia's hand. It's wonderful. What kind of magic was that? The performer?
It was a lot of illusion. type stuff, but
Very
I
good.
can't be super specific because that's like a magician
No, no, no,
revealing
no.
their tricks.
Do that.
How did I do that? Sorry, you're breaking up a little, Wiz.
No, I just said that's what I thought.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, she's like, yeah, that's pretty much it. I can't say too much more about it because, as I said, it's like a magician revealing their tricks, But
Oh no, of course.
it's really fun.
But it was an excellent show.
Thank you. I especially love the look on the audience's faces when they think he's eaten me. And she pats the dog next to her, sorry.
Gumby kind of like interrupts their conversation, and he like kneels down, and he's like,
What did he say? What does Gumby say?
"Can I pet your dog?"
Sure. Go ahead. Just please be gentle.
Okay, thank you. He pets the dog very softly, very nicely. Soft dog, 10 out of 10.
So it was supposed to end like that, right? Like I didn't miss anything. This is Peru talking to Cecilia.
Yeah.
Elbow Peru.
Yeah. Of course. How else would it end?
Oh well, I don't know. It was great. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
And nods at Peru.
Yeah. What did you say, Wiz?
It's at Peru.
Nope, still cut.
Give him a look.
He gives him a look.
Okay. Peru is shutting up now.
Ironically, Gumby, as you're petting this dog, you kind of hear its like collar jingle, and you see like a name tag on it, and the name tag just says bear.
How soft is this dog on a scale of 1 to 10? I need to know.
This dog is a solid 11 out of 10 on the scale of soft.
You cut out. I'm so sad. Wait.
Oh, this dog is a solid 11 out of 10 on the soft scale.
Nice. There's a level of what's important and what he needs to know, and the softness of dogs is like right up there.
Gotcha. Duly noted.
Thank you.
She also kind of like, Marin, you have your hand on her shoulder, right?
I have my hand on her hand.
Oh, on her hand. Okay. So she kind of like squeezes your hand and she goes, "Oh, I forgot to mention. Marianne wants you guys to stay for dinner."
Oh, for dinner. Well, go
Well,
on.
yeah, you guys did rescue me.
Well, dinner does sound great. It would. We'd love to talk to Marion, especially about your acts. Like, what else? Like, what else? This can't be the only thing you could possibly do.
Me?
Oh, yeah, of course you.
The story changes sometimes, but that's only if Bear's having an off night.
Hmm.
I will say it doesn't always end as well as it did. But
Excuse me, how could it end any worse than it did?
well, Bear's smart, but he's not a genius, and well, it's usually my fault if he ends up, actually hurting me. But so sometimes we have to end the show a little short. Like, he doesn't get to do the thing at the end where he, like, eats me, because he'll accidentally do something like scratch me or, throw me somewhere, and he won't do it like we practiced, so it'll... I've had a couple of injuries, but it's nothing big. And Marion always stops the show before we get to the fighting part, just in case Bear's having an off night. We don't want to do that last stunt if he's not, on top performance. She starts, like, she's kind of like fiddling with the edge of her cloak, and she kneels down and, like, starts patting Bear with you, Gunby, and she's like, well, I should go let Bear get rest. It kind of tires him out when we do this, so that's why I only do my act once a night. But dinner isn't quite yet, so if you guys wanted, you guys can play some games or check out some of the other tents. Although there won't be another act for an hour or so. There's usually a bit of downtime between everybody's performances. So it might actually be... Dinner might actually be ready before the next act is prepared. So you can always check out the games or the concession stand. Or I can introduce you to some people. Although...
Actually, I'd love to meet some of the other entertainers here. Marion does seem to talk very highly of you, but I'm sure there's other great other performers here you got.
Oh, sure there are. Let's see. I think we should be able to find Lorelai might be around here somewhere. I think they're supposed to go on next. But they don't really need a lot of prep time, so we can go over to that tent over there and see if they're warming up.
Sure, that sounds great to me.
Okay, she points to the, like, middle tent that's, like, off to the... Well, I guess if you're looking at the great tent, it's off to the left, and it's in the middle.
Okay.
She, like... She's lived in this circus her whole life, and, like, it's always, like, the same kind of setup, so she knows, once it's set up, how to navigate it.
Yeah, okay.
So I just clarifying, she's not, like, not blind anymore. She just knows the setup of how the circus is.
It just hasn't changed, so she's used to it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it always sets up the exact same when it sets up. So, you guys make your way. Anyone who, I will say, like, you don't all have to do everything together, but if you do, that's totally fine. So, is there anybody who doesn't want to go meet Lorelai and her brother? I'm gonna take that as a no. So Cecilia turns around, and Bear just kind of, like, pads alongside her. And she leads you into this tent, and she pulls back the flap and kind of gestures for you guys to go in.
Peter walks along in, curious as ever.
She kind of, like, talks to an employee who's, like, standing by the entrance of this tent, because there's, like, a time stamp or whatever, like, it's a sign that says the time of the performance on it, like, directly next to the entrance, and obviously it hasn't started yet, so most people wouldn't be allowed in. But she is talking to this man and explaining why she's letting you in, and he seems to be buying it, so... You guys are let in as you enter. It's different than the main arena. It is like a small. It's not deep at all. It's level with everything else. And you guys see hanging from the ceiling a series of hoops and ribbons that are just kind of dangling from the ceiling. And in the center, you see two figures that they're just like stretching. They haven't noticed you enter yet.
Can we tell what race they are?
If you want to probably. I mean, they're a little bit like far off because you just entered like the outer ring of this
Oh, okay.
arena.
I didn't realize like how. Oh, the arena. Okay, I didn't realize how like large one area we were entering. I thought we were entering like a more smaller tent.
Yeah, the tent. Well, it's smaller than the main arena, but this is still there's still significant seating, so you'd have to go down like a couple rows to
Right.
It's basically this tent's set up more like a bleacher situation around the outside, as opposed to having the rest of the floor rescind into a deep arena.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to approach the edge of this clearing in the center to kind of get a good look at who these people are.
You said there's a bunch of hoops and ribbons and stuff on the ceiling?
Mm-hmm.
Then Peru is looking up at the ceiling and looks really excited.
Okay. Yeah, there's hoops.
Is actually also very, very excited.
Peter's primarily keeping his eye out for the two. What were their names again?
The two figures in the center have not. You don't. Well, yeah, true. Cecilia did state their names. So one of them is Lorelei, and one of them is Calliope.
Okay. So yeah.
One of the figures is wearing an kind of leotard.
Mm-hmm.
And the other, and it has long black and white hair, in basically tight dreads. And the other performer has short white hair, and is wearing an all white leotard and has white feathers tucked behind their ear.
Fancy.
So Cecilia leads you towards the center ring, and kind of she has her hand out kind of so that when she reaches the edge of it's basically there's a short wall that surrounds it. When she reaches the wall, she stops herself and props herself up on the wall, and she starts waving, and she's Lorelei, Cal, over here, I have guests. And the two performers turn around, and so now you can see them clearly. They are two elven performers as well. They have long ears similar to Marianne's, and they have dark skin with the same markings as everyone else has, but they're white. Here I
And
have
size.
Marin's size. I'm just gonna quickly drop some photo references for you. Oh, I'm sorry. Lorelei has dark markings, and Calliope has white markings. Okay.
Ooh, I like the designs.
Lorelei turns around, she immediately looks up at the lot of you and is like, "Oh my goodness, Cal, look, new guests. This is so wonderful. Come in, dears." And she gestures kind of to the edge of the arena, and a door just kind of swings open. as if she like pushed it open with like an unseen force. And she's like, "Come, I'd love to meet new guests. Cal, look, say hello." And Cal just kind of like stops stretching for a second, and he's like, "Hi." And he looks a little like he's not awkward or anything, but he looks confused as to what you're doing in this tent before showtime.
Oh, well, you know, we're very good friends here with Cecilia, and she said that she would give us a little tour of and introduce us to the other members of this great troupe. So we're just coming to say hi. We do know that you're having a show coming up, so we won't take up too much of your time.
Oh, Cece, you know these folk? And Cal kind of like, wow, I have to make my voice more different for him than from Lorelai. But he kind of looks you all over and he smirks a little, and he's like, "Oh, I like them, Lorelai." And he actually pauses at Marin and kind of like looks you up and down, and
Wink.
Oh no.
widens his he goes from smirk to kind of like a crooked grin, and he turns back to Lorelai, and he's kind of like now stretching and talking. And she goes, "Well, have any of you partaken in our festivities today? Have you seen any performances?"
Oh, we saw Cecilia's lovely performance here with oh god, what's the dog's name again? Someone help me out here.
It's part of
It's Bear.
It's Bear.
Yeah,
Bear. Cecilia and Bear here with their lovely performance. We were very honored and glad to see the only one showing today. But we are interested in seeing what else they have. What else you guys have here at this lovely circus? Let me guess. Peter's kind of like snapping his fingers, making exaggerated humming sound. He's like, "Let me guess. You guys are acrobats? Huh? You guys look the part."
Well, that's part of our act. But that's not the whole thing that we do, is it, Cal? He's like, "Oh." And he's kind of like, "Of course not. That would be too boring." And they kind of like, it's weird now, they're like stretching, but they're like mirroring each other as they stretch. So like when he stretches to the left, she stretches to the right and stuff like that. And Lorelai kind of giggles and she's like, "Of course, we can't give away too much now. That wouldn't be any fun. You'll just have to come see."
When is your show?
We should be going on in about, what is it, 2 hours from now, Cal? And he goes, "Yes, Lorelai, it's the same every night." And he kind of laughs, and it's like, and she like laughs back, and it's a little disconcerting because they're both kind of like fake laughing, like it's like, and then they look back at you.
I roll history or arcana to see what kind of elves they are.
Yeah, sure. You can roll our, I guess it would be history.
Team.
What was it? Type it in the chat.
Okay.
Oh, I can hear you perfectly say "ha, okay," but not your roll.
Now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Said 19.
19. Okay. Yeah, probably from your history of elven hatred, you've probably familiarized yourself with some of the other races.
Elven hatred.
And you can tell that these two are sun elves.
Ye ol' sun elves.
Yeah, ye ol' sun elves. But yeah. But yeah, they're looking at you, and Lorelai kind of like, she like switches. She kind of like crouches now, and she's stretching on the ground, and she's like, and Cal is mirroring her, and she goes, "Well, what do you think? Will you be joining us?"
Well,
Love to.
we definitely love to, but unfortunately we're not entirely sure how long we can stick around. But you guys don't go on for another 2 hours. You guys can't give us a little like preview, any sort of like something to pardon the poor wording, but whet our appetites. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm sure there's other shows going on that we could see.
Of course, there are. Well, for the night, there's only one other act between now and our act, because, well, we are the grand finale.
Oh, the grand finale.
Of course. You see, Lorelai and I possess a very special talent, and no one else here in this circus can live up to that, so naturally, Ace made us the finale. And Lorelai kind of grins at what Cal's saying. She goes, "Oh yes, we are what are the last." Oh yeah. Oh no, here I'm gonna finish what I was saying. She goes, "We are the last thing on people's minds at the end of the night."
Oh, sure. You do a couple flips and you do a few swirls and spins, and you get everyone all excited before they go home.
She kind of like raises an eyebrow at you and like smirks, and she's like, "Oh, darling, we do so much more than that." Did Prue want to say something?
Well, I was just a little bit confused because you said Ace, and I was wondering if you meant Marion.
Thank you.
When did I say Ace? Because I don't think I mentioned.
As the Vogue twins, you said Ace made them the final act.
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. I meant Marion.
Okay.
I'm too used to one obnoxious person being in control. Not Ace. I did mean Marion. Yes. Marion, of course, made us the final act. But I'm sure there'll be plenty of time for you to join us. Cal winks at you, Peter. And Lorelai giggles and kind of like smacks his arm a little when she stands up, and she goes, "Save the charisma for the performance, Cal. You'll need all you can get." And he kind of like laughs and pushes her back, and he's like, "As if everybody knows I'm the crowd's favorite." And they're both like laughing at each other now, but it's the same like weird kind of like ha 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 ha. Like they're just being like polite.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little disconcerting.
Peter kind of like leans back to the others and just like whispers, like it's not like he kind of just like whispers softly to the rest, like it doesn't seem like they're gonna drop any juicy details for us. Our best bet's probably Marion during dinner. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Ace told us not to like. Ace told us this was primarily like a reconnaissance mission, correct?
Yeah, he just wanted you to go in and see what kind of production they were running, and like if you figure out running it.
Mm-hmm.
So you've accomplished.
We've already done most of what we've asked.
Yeah. Well, technically, you haven't seen the entire circus because you guys haven't gone to the back part where the games are set up.
Oh, right, the games.
And obviously you haven't been in like all the tents. But that's honestly like it's up to you guys whether or not you think you need to check out every single tent, or if you think you've been able to get the general read of this place.
Mm-hmm.
So
Should we
these two
check it?
twins are just kind of like laughing awfully in front of you. Cecilia's like giggling off to the side, and she's kind of like she's got herself like propped up on the wall, so she's like swinging her legs because she's not touching the floor right now.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Peter turns back to Cecilia and just asks her, how much longer to dinner? I'm sure there's more entertainers that we could see, or do you think any of the games are still running even this late? I know you guys have one more act to go.
Well, Marion said dinner would be ready in about a half hour or so, so there's time to see games if you want.
Sure, let's just take a spin through the game, see what we can see. Maybe we can win some last minute prizes for you. Did such a good job. He kind of like gets her like head up a pat head. Or head.
I got you. Pat head. Peter Pat head. Okay. Yes, got it. She smiles and she goes, "Okay, I'm not very good at the games myself, but if you guys want to try, sure, I'll take you there." And she kind of waves to Cal and Lorelai, and they wave back, and they do that thing where like they link arms, and like Lorelai leans forward, and Cal like sticks his legs straight up in the air, so he's like on her back, and then he like bends forward, and she does the same thing, and so they're just like weirdly stretching now, and so Cecilia jumps down and starts to go back up the aisle towards the exit.
What a peculiar bunch.
Nick.
Sure, we'll see if you're later.
Yeah.
And I wink and kind of do like a finger wave at I'm walking out.
Okay. Nick's kind of also waves, and he's like, I look forward to it. I love acrobatics. And he follows Cecilia out the tent, and Cecilia's just kind of waiting for all of you to rejoin her outside the tent, and I assume you all do, unless for some reason you guys want to look around this tent. Although I'll say now, like, there's nothing really interesting about the tent. Like, you could see it was well lit and stuff like that. It was just a bunch of empty stadium seats and then the things hanging from the ceiling. So there wasn't anything really interesting about the interior of that tent. So as you guys all exit this tent, and Cecilia gestures and starts to lead you back towards where you can see a bunch of game stalls set up. So as she leads you here, you see the following stalls. You see a balloon dart game, you see a ring toss game, you see a bottle game, and you see one of those things that's like, hey, I'll guess your age, and wait, and if I get it right, like, I win, or if I get it wrong, you win. And you see one of those booths where everyone has like a small pistol, and you're shooting it towards like a target, and it makes like a thing go up, and it's a race basically between everyone. Except instead of small guns, they're like wands.
Let's see.
And Cecilia kind of stops and she's like, so what did you guys want to play?
I look at Nyx.
Nyx looks back at you, Marin, and he kind of smiles and he's like, hey, wanna race?
You want me to beat you?
You wish. And he starts to, like, he kind of doesn't care, like, what the rest of the group is doing. He starts to walk towards the booth that has a bunch of wands lined up.
Up behind him.
He picks up one of the wands. Does anyone else want to join in on the race?
Peter is actually interested in the guests, like the age weight sort of game.
Okay.
So he walks over there, but I don't mind like doing it on the side later.
Okay. So he's gonna walk over to the age guessing one. What are Peru, Val, and Gunby doing? Let's start with Gunby, yeah? Good.
He doesn't really care that much about the wand thing, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he going towards any of the other games?
No, he's just gonna go follow Peter and watch.
Okay. Val?
Follow Peter.
Okay. So you guys are going to watch Peter. Peru?
He's not really interested in any of the games, so I was hoping that I could slip away and try to, I guess, like, see more around the circus and maybe try to create a map because I have proficiency in cartographer's tools.
Okay. Are you trying to walk away unnoticed?
No, I don't think so. It's just like, I mean, I'm noticed by Cecilia, but I don't think he cares if the rest of his party sees him.
Okay. Make a stealth check with advantage.
Okay. Hang on. That is 24.
Okay, yeah, you managed to sneak away completely unnoticed.
Okay.
So I will address what you're doing in a moment. The games real quick.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna resolve Nyx and Marin's real fast. We're gonna do a best 2 out of 3. We are going to roll a d20, and whoever rolls highest 2 out of 3 times is the winner of that race. Okay. All right. First roll. I got a 10. We're not adding anything to it.
No.
What did Marion get? How come when you say singular digits to me, I can't hear it?
Tell me.
Yeah. Okay. What was the number?
11.
11, sweet. Okay, as you start casting, Nyx is a little shaky as he begins, so his little object, let me see, what is the object? I think it's just like, Marin, you have like a white ball, basically, and he is a black ball. And so the black ball is like slowly inching up it, but Marin's definitely takes off at a more even pace. So roll number 2. Wow, I got a 9.
15.
All right, Nyx is kind of distracted. He's trying to actually like use his tail to like bump you a little, Marin, but it is not working. And because he's doing that, he's distracting himself from his own casting. And there's no need to roll a third time because that is best 2 of 3. Actually, let's roll a third time to see if Nyx does anything, manages to do anything skillful. But Marin has already won this game. I got an 11. I can't hear you. Nope, still can't hear you. Okay. Wiz has texted 13, so that's a total failure for Nyx. He's really bad at the whole magic thing. He doesn't really do it, so Marin easily Nyx is only about halfway up the device when Marin's hits the top, and a little alarm bell will ring, and you hear like the Mario fucking like do 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 do. And Marin has won. So they hand Marin a bear. But it is the bear has pointed ears, and it has it's a white bear. It has pointed ears, and it has black embroidery on its face to match the markings of the circus performers. If you're saying anything, I can't hear it. I can't hear you, so you might want to drop and rejoin. I will say that Nyx looks especially like put out. He's a little he's grumpy. He's pouting. He's like, I didn't want a dumb bear anyway. Everyone can still hear me, right?
Yeah, I can still hear you fine.
Okay, excellent. Okay, excellent. While Wiz is fixing their device, I'm going to scan over to Peter, surrounded by Gunby and Val, who are watching approach this carnival barker who's like, step right up, step right up.
Peter confidently with his head up high steps on up to the stage.
And he goes, I see we have a taker. Tell me, sir, what's your name?
Peter. Peter's my name.
Alright, Peter. Step right up on this little scale here.
Peter steps up onto the scale.
It's not like an actual scale, obviously he's not weighing you.
Right.
But it's like a little platform, and when you do this, like, there's a ring of lights that kind of like starts spinning around you.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, all right, Peter, tell me some things about yourself. What do you do for work?
Oh, well, I'm a musician, a fellow traveling entertainer. I couldn't help myself but come to this great little festive circus we have here.
Oh, well, that's great. And how long have you been doing that?
Oh, for many years. I am a student at the Bard's College.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank God.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, he's just going off of how, like, the Bard's College is like a chain of colleges, teaching in many different schools, yada yada.
After you kind of ramble a little bit, the barker kind of waves you off, and he's like, "I just needed a simple number, son." I know about the Bard's College.
I would say a good 7 years or so.
All right. let's see. Tell me a little about your family. You got any siblings?
Oh, plenty of siblings. So, a good half dozen brothers and sisters back home. Hope they're doing well. You know how kids are, being the oldest and all.
And that's real nice. And how long have you been here at this here carnival? This circus?
I want to say it's barely been. Correct me if I'm wrong. Peter is. I'm gonna have to guess maybe like an hour, a couple hours.
Yep,
Yeah, for a
it's
couple
been like an
hours.
hour. Mhm.
Yeah, it's been about an hour. Oh, we just arrived not too long ago.
Ooh, fresh meat. Interesting.
meat.
And he laughs, and he goes, "All right then, Peter. Let's see. You were lying, right?
Yeah.
Make a bluff, make a first deception check. That's what it is.
Deception? Sure thing. Oh, please help me. Please, 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 please. 21.
Okay, he's gonna make an insight check to combat that.
Fight me.
Oh god, no. Alright, he kind of looks at you for a second, and he goes, "Alright, Peter, I want you to look at me in the eye, and I want you to think of your age." And what the fuck did I say was the other thing he's guessing? Your weight. He's like, "I want you to think of the two numbers. I want you to think of your weight, and I want you to think of your age."
Mm-hmm.
Alright, just look at me. And he kind of like, he holds his he reaches out and he puts his hands on either side of your head, and he's like making direct eye contact, squinting, and then he closes his eyes. Let me see. Okay. Alright, are you thinking?
Oh, I'm thinking.
Are you thinking? And this is your DM asking?
No, I have the answers in mind. Should I, wait, okay, yeah, I got it in mind.
Okay, are you, is Peter doing as he says? Is he holding those numbers, in his mind?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you can either put it in the chat or you can DM it to me. DM me the two numbers that you're thinking.
I will DM you 1 second. Okay.
Does Val or Peru want to make an insight check? Or not Peru, I'm sorry, he went off. I meant Gunby or Val. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Detroit.
Yep.
Uh, 17.
17? Okay, when Peter, you hear this, but Val, you also notice this. Actually, no. Val, you notice off to the side, there's kind of he kind of has an assistant standing off to the side of him who is helping him wave people towards the stand. And when Peter approached, the assistant kind of backed off and is standing kind of off to the side of this curtain that is being used as kind of a border to this. And with the 17, you notice that the assistant is mouthing words and pointing at the carnival barker. But they're not making any sound, they're just mouthing stuff. And after like 30 seconds has passed, the carnival barker goes, "Aha, I've got it. You, sir, Peter, are 28 years old and weigh 87 pounds."
Ooh. Unfortunately, that's not quite right, pal.
Is that so? And he releases the thing that was causing like the scale that you're on to like not weigh you. And the scale weighs you, and if you are truthful to me, it displays 87 pounds. And he goes, "Well, I certainly got your weight right. Got any ID on you to prove me wrong? And if you are a citizen of these 4 cities, you have been. Actually, I just realized something. You don't have any ID, unless you have a student ID."
Yeah, student ID. Kabar
Okay.
College student ID.
Okay. You have your old Bard School student ID, and because it's a special college, it does have it almost has like driver's license information on it. So it has like your eye color and like your gender, and like it has your birthday and the school of like the certain school that you're studying in. And there's a small hand-drawn portrait of you next to it.
Amazing.
And as I said, if you were truthful to me, the birthday reads that you would indeed be 28 years old. So do you you hand him this ID?
Yeah, he reluctantly hands it.
Okay, and he goes, "Aha, your deception won't work here." And he kind of plays like a sad, like, "Ooh" tune. He's like, "Better luck next time, my friend." And he kind of waves you off the scale.
He kind of like squints his eyes and like snatches the ID back, and, like stuffs his back in his pocket and makes it off the stage.
Do you want to make a perception check?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Let's see what we get here. 7.
Okay, yeah, you don't notice that his assistant emerges from behind the curtain.
Nope. Trats. But you guys win any of those games? I didn't have any luck here. He looks back and like squints his eyes at the
Before you guys make that decision, I want to go back real quick to Marin and Nyx now that
Yeah, thank you. I was just gonna say, now that I can speak.
Yeah, when Nyx loses,
You can't hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you very
Okay,
clearly
thank
now.
God.
Yeah. When Nyx loses, he kind of like slaps the wand down. Not like he's not like angry or anything. He's just disappointed. He goes, "Ah, I didn't want that stupid bear anyway."
I laugh and I give him the bear. Because I know he wants the fucking bear.
Nyx like kind of looks at Marin like he's reluctant to take it, and he's like, "What? I just said I didn't want it."
Then hold it for me.
"What am I, your pack mule?" But he like
Absolutely.
he takes it anyway, because he's like, "Fine, I guess I'll just hold it for you." And he kind of like holds it delicately. So he kind of tucks it into the nook of his arm, so he's almost like cradling his bear now with his like beast hand. And as I said, it's not really like a bear, it's kind of like an elven bear.
Like a stupid elf bear.
Yeah, it's like a stupid elf
Mara
bear.
doesn't want it anyway. God.
You don't really need to make an insight check because you kind of know Nyx. So you can kind of see on his face that he's like pleasantly content that he kind of knew that you would give it to him anyway. And so he, after you see him like smile kind of to himself, he like pretends to frown and he like sticks his hand out and he's like, good game, I guess. He's like,
I high-five him.
Oh my god. Nyx looks at you and he's like, oh, okay, wasn't exactly what I was going for, but it works. And he turns around to look for the others and he goes, should we go back with them?
Sure, or do you want your ass kicked in something else?
Ass kick? I don't know what you're talking about. After all, I'm the one holding the bear.
Marin rolls his eyes and walks away.
Nyx looks very proud of himself and follows Marin. Did Val or Gunby want to play any of the other games, as Peter asked? There's a ring toss, there's a balloon dart thing, and there is a... What was the other thing I said? Oh, the, like, ball that you throw at a bunch of bottles and knock it down.
No. Yeah, no, Gunby's good.
Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go to Peru then. Peru, what exactly do you want to be looking at?
I mean, nothing in particular. I just want to make a map of the circus.
Okay, so are you basically doing like a quick perimeter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
So I'm gonna say then that when you like walked off, you kind of like you walked into where the games were and then like kept walking, because the way this circus is set up, it's like a huge circle.
Okay.
So the games like aisle kind of makes up the back half of the circle. So like behind some of the games is the back essentially of like the path that leads to the back of the main arena tent. And then so if you walk through the aisle, you're on the other different row of tents, and there are 3 tents along that side of the circus. If you want, I can you can read the labels on the tents.
Sure.
To mark down. So you like mark down the different game booths as you walk through them. And then as you walk to the other side, oh god. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to say that you like write down all the names, and then I'll send you a list, and next session I will like provide that list. I haven't named all of the acts yet, so I don't want to like make up anything on the spot because they're all kind of important.
Okay.
So I'm not going to go into super detail right now about the names, but you are able to read all the signs and write them down. And I will literally have that like as soon as this session is over for you, so that you will have that in your notes for next week.
Okay.
And everyone, I'll share it with everyone because I'm sure that, well, actually, is Peru making this map to share with everyone?
He's making it to later share with Ace, so yes, it is going to be shared with everyone.
Okay then, so I'll post the list of tents here so everyone can see it, and then I will discuss it at the beginning of the next week's session. But if so, you're gonna do that as the group of you kind of conclude the games that you were playing. You meet up in the center again. I'm going to say the time it took them to play those games, Peru, was actually like pretty much enough time for you to do like a circle around this. It's not a huge circus. Like, as I said, it's just basically one large path that goes in a circle. So it took you guys about like half an hour to play these games. and Peru, it took you about half an hour to pace around.
Okay.
So when you guys are done, Cecilia kind of runs up and tugs on someone. Let me check, because she doesn't have specifics. She actually tugs on Peru.
Oh, okay.
She probably just taps your arm.
Okay.
And she goes, it's about time for dinner if you guys are done.
Okay, yeah, guys, dinner?
Peter stretches his arms like, oh, that sounds lovely right now. I am completely famished after our journey here.
Okay. Follow me then. And she, wanders, through the games into the tent that's it's the first tent at the end of the game row, on the opposite side from where you guys have already walked past. So, Peru, you've seen this, but everyone else hasn't.
Okay.
And she pulls back the tent for you, and as you guys enter this tent, you are greeted by this expansive table that goes it goes further back than you can see, pretty much. This is another tent that is bigger on the inside than it looks on the outside, similar to the arena. And set out at the table is a tea set. And sitting at the standing behind the chair that is at the head of this table is Marion, waiting for you with that same big grin on his face. And next to him is a kind of disheveled looking man. And on the other side of him is a large, human-sized rabbit.
Oh my god.
Whomst.
And he said, our honored guest, you are here. Well, tuck in. And I'm going to, cut it right there, because this session has to be a little shorter than previous sessions, just because I got here kind of late and it's 10 o'clock. But we're going to pick up there next time at this dinner. Sorry, this session was a little all over the place. I didn't get the prep time I usually do.
It's okay. I'm sorry. I was kind of bad with my words today. I'm really out of it.
It's totally okay. I think we were all a little scrambled. Good night, Gunby. Thank you for
Good night, Gumby.
All right, gone. Okay. Thank you, everyone who came in the chat. Thank you for all my players for being here. Again, I'm sorry it was kind of weak sauce this week. I didn't get my prep time that I usually do because I was driving back to college.
No.
Gosh, no, it's as always fantastic.
I had chills when you were telling the little story about the girl, about Cecilia.
I'm glad, because that did not pan out the way I hoped it would. I might write out a more fluid version of that and put it in the campaign notes.
Okay.
To make it just a little neater than it was this week, because I didn't get to write it out in advance. Nothing major is going to change about it, so it won't matter too much. But I'm just going to make it a little more put together as a story itself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that should be everything. If you have any questions, as always, you're free to ask me.
No, that should be it.
Yeah, that's everything. You guys have a great night. I'm gonna say good night to everyone who joined us. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, real glad to
thank
be here
you.
again this week.
Yeah. Join us again next week for a more normal session.
Hope you all rest up well. Good night, guys.
Night.
Good night.
Good night.